So on the digital SAT, there are a number of confusing questions, and this here is an example of one of those confusing questions. So this question gives you two equations, and the question asks, in the given system of equations, A is a constant. The graphs of the equations in the given system intersect at exactly one point, xy, in the xy plane. What is the value of x? So the confusing part of this question is that it gives two unknowns, a and x, and it asks you to solve for x. But to solve for x, you have to first calculate a. So there are two methods of solving for this, by graphing and by solving it mathematically. So to solve it mathematically, the first thing you would do would be to subtract these two equations. And when you subtract it, you would get 0 equals 2x squared minus 24x plus 64 minus a. So a key note here is that the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, and that if this discriminant equals 0, then the system has only one solution, which is the relationship between these two equations. So we can simply plug in the numbers from this equation into this discriminant and then solve for a. So plugging in, we'd see that b squared, which is negative 24 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 64 minus a, equals 0. So simplifying this, you should get 8a plus 64 equals 0. And then a equals negative 8. So then you can plug this back into the equation y equals 3x plus a, and you get y equals 3x minus 8. And then you have to solve for the value of x, because the question asks for the value of x, not for the value of a. So to solve for the value of x, you'd simply subtract these two equations from each other again, and you'd get 0 equals 2x squared minus 24x and plus 72. And then you can do factoring, and you'd get 2x minus 6 squared. And from this you can see that x equals 6, and the answer should be C. But there's also another way to do this. So on the test you're given a graphing calculator, and then you can just simply plug in the two equations. So here is 2x squared minus 21x plus 64 and 3x minus 8. So this 3x minus 8, this minus 8 part represents a, and you get this value by simply plugging in values for a until you get an equation that has only one solution or intersection point with this parabola. And then once you do, you can simply click on this point here to show the intersection point, and you see that it intersects at 6, 10. So the x value here is 6, and that would be C. So the correct answer here would be C. And as before, the confusing part about this question is the fact that it gives two unknowns, a and x, and it asks you to calculate for x, but to calculate for x, you have to first solve for a.